Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Taylor Seminars, where we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry. I'm here with my co host, Exquisite. Hello.
Hello, Hannah.
And we are here to talk about track number 7 of the Tortured Poets Department, Fresh Out
Wow,
the
we're already
Slammer. What'd you say?
we're like halfway through
Are
the
we?
main
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Good for us,
Good for us.
right? Because we've done, that means this is our 7th episode of a track, but we did like a couple before. So look at us.
I know. We're doing a lot. I love this song.
I
Fresh out
love
the
this
slam.
song too.
Yeah, I knew going in this would be one of the songs that I would really enjoy. Um and literally from the opening, I was like, okay, we're continuing on our Americana Western sound.
Yeah, yeah. If I wasn't sure before with "But Daddy, I Love Him," like this one was for sure. Like with that opening, down, down.
Dum dum. Literally.
Yeah, it's very much giving that like country twang. I could feel like a duel coming up between like the sheriff and the outlaw, like tumbleweed.
Exactly. I don't remember what we said we were predicting just from the title of it, but I was like, okay, title Fresh Out Slammer. She's definitely just gonna be singing about right how the breakup ended or whatever. Which I mean wasn't far off.
Yeah, I figured
Right?
it would be like, what's it like being free from your relationship? I assumed it would be about being free from a long term relationship. I did not know it was escaping into something that might be worse.
Yeah. I didn't know she was running into a microwave, but she definitely is free. And also this is where we get that just how low could I go before I self implode? We are in self implosion territory.
Mm-hmm.
Uh self implosion territory. And she even like, and we'll talk about this as we get through the lyrics, but she even builds up why the hell she imploded. Like, boom,
Mm-hmm.
she
Mm-hmm.
built it.
Yeah, it was a manic phase that I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep saying that over and over again.
yeah. And we literally, you can feel her descend into mania at a very specific point, and we'll get there. But this is another one of those songs that just makes me weep. Fresh Out the Slammer and Solo London together just break my heart, make me weep. That's why I'm happy she has But Daddy I Love Them, But Daddy I Love Him right in between it because my goodness, I needed some relief.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the songs that has the most vivid imagery, both in terms of the lyrics, but
Mm-hmm.
also just in terms of the production. We're going to talk about that a lot more, but I can hear the music and the story happening because of all the amazing things that Taylor and Jack do in this song.
Yeah. Sonically, it is so cool. It's so visual. So like, yeah, no. It's just so
Yeah,
cool.
I get this
And
image of like she's like on a Greyhound bus. Like she's left the facility with like her duffel bag. She's
yeah,
climbed into a Greyhound bus and she's just driving down these lonely country roads and just thinking about reuniting with this lover on a porch. And like I can just feel that motion, that propelling until we get to the
it
end, which
feels
will.
very dusty to me as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like this is not a clean. This was not like some kind of bougie Malibu like uh drug rehab facility. Like this was in the middle of nowhere, like state jail.
Mm-hmm. And Jack did what he had to do with all these instruments.
Yeah.
He did what was needed. That acoustic guitar especially. Good
Y-
job, Jack.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Any other thoughts before I start reading a little bit?
No other thoughts. Oh, this is also another one where there isn't really a chorus as we would know them to be.
Yeah, I guess the chorus is technically because she does. I don't know, like
It's like a
it's
refrain and not
yeah,
a
yeah. She calls it a chorus in the line in her little booklet, but it's not a true chorus. There are
not really a chorus.
refrains. It's more some repetition to like help you know where you are to break it
Yeah.
up. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
let me start. Now, pretty baby, I'm running back home to you. Fresh out the slammer, I know who my first call will be too. I'm going to keep reading, but just to pause. So, in case you don't know, fresh out the slammer is a colloquial term for jail. So, fresh out the
Yep.
slammer means you've just like a
You just got out.
you just
They
got out,
just
like
let
a
you out.
fruit that's been picked off the orchard is fresh. You have just been tossed out of jail. You are free to go. And where is she going? Where is she running? So let me keep reading. Oh,
Yeah.
I love this. Oh, it sounds so good. I love reading this. All right.
Yeah. I'm
Another
already.
summer taking cover, rolling thunder. He don't understand me. Splintered back in winter, silent dinners, bitter. He was with her in dreams. Gray and blue and fights and tunnels, handcuffed to the spell I was under for just 1 hour of sunshine. Years of labor, locks and ceilings in the shade of how he was feeling, but it's gonna be all right. I did my time.
I could scream.
Okay, but can we say like Tay Flow?
I know. Literally, Tay Rapper, Tay Kendrick Lamar, Tay Pop Shakur.
No, like we thought that those little rhymes in Antihero were cute, but look at this.
Literally, the rhythm she's putting is literally another summer
Mm-hmm.
taking cover. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like she does like the she like emphasizes on the downbeat of each word. Like she does these doublets that are just so cool.
And then she throws in the third, the rolling thunder.
He don't understand me. Like she's so
And then she repeats it, splintered, back in winter, silent, dinners, bitter.
good.
He was with her. It's so good.
She's so cool. She's so cool. Like the coolest. Like this song is probably one of the coolest usage of rhyme that she does.
And rhyme
Like
combined with not with like yeah, internal, but also like the not pentameter. What is it called? The meter, right?
yeah, the
Um
meter. So close. Pentameter is Shakespeare.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, not it's just what he uses.
Yeah, what he used. But then yeah, but the meter that she uses, yeah, very melodic, very if you get a highlighter, guys, and start like highlighting like the like consonant or the vowel sounds, like you will just see how crazy this is. This isn't easy. This doesn't just happen.
Oh my gosh, can you hear the rain?
No. Do you have rolling thunder?
I do have Rolling Thunder.
Nice.
But if we're gonna just break down, I like the fact that she opens up the song with a direct address. She said, "Now, as in right now, I'm running back home to you. I'm coming. I'm
Yeah.
on my way."
Yeah. She's talking to somebody who is a pretty baby.
Yeah. And I love the way she says pretty baby. Like the way she sings pretty baby, she's obviously delusional from the jump, but it was the light of freedom on her face.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And it's
The great
crazy.
escape,
It's
prison break. Except this time she didn't break out of prison. She did her time.
and that's what's gonna it's gonna fuck her up. Like she's like, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. But yeah, and she's not just coming home. She's running. She's like, I am going there as fast as I can towards my
As
demise.
fast as possible. Probably a little. She's not thinking.
No.
She's not thinking at all. She's just going.
Yeah, and she's like, I know who my first call will be to. It's not to my parents that I'm okay, right? It's not to my past lover, obviously, but it's to you.
What she could have been a past lover. We'll get there.
Well, yes.
Oh, there's the thunder. Oh my, where did this rain come from?
For this
But it
podcast.
worked. Yeah, literally, it's setting the vibes. This is a song that makes me cry, but it's so weird because you wouldn't think I'd be crying to this. But then I hear the lyrics. Another summer, taking cover, rolling thunder. He don't understand me. So literally, those two lines on top of each other. First of all, she used to sing like "I loved you 3 summers and now I won them all," but after that summers got really hard, and she was like they had to hide out because, and where were they hiding from? The rolling thunder. And the thunder, because of the "he don't understand me" right after, we know the thunder is him.
Yeah.
And we also know that from My Boy, because he called the rains to end our days of yore.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it's just so sad because that lover reference, even in Peace, our coming of age has come and gone suddenly. This summer it's clear there's no more storms. Like she fears there will be storms, like, would it be enough? But no, these are other storms, new storms that have brewed. And then we have
he just doesn't understand her.
And that's so sad because the fact that she's calling this other person, she feels like he does, right? That's why she's going to him.
Yeah.
Um,
And for Taylor and a lot of her music, love to her is understanding and being able to like know a person so well and like understand what makes them tick, understands why they do anything. And so to say he doesn't understand me is for her to be like, he doesn't love me anymore.
yeah.
So I've been taking cover it's another summer of taking cover because it's been happening more than once. It's not just like it isn't just happened. It's something that's continuous, especially like with rolling thunder. Rolling thunder is thunder that comes and goes, but you know it's coming.
Yeah. It's a storm that's kind of coming in and it's going to be going for a while. But I think for me, it also relates to your. You always talk about the violence, the violent imagery,
Yeah.
like taking cover in a storm, right? You are like if it's a tornado or something, right? You got to go in the basement, in the cellar. You got to if it's hailing, thunderstorms often have hail, winds, big droplets. I think, and later we're gonna see, more physical and even like I feel like, did I yeah, yeah, there's going to be fights and stuff later. Like that's another version, like taking cover from this violence and these actions. So
Mhm.
it's already looking bad. And
It's looking real grim.
yeah, even like literally the next line, splintered back in winter. And this is such a cool like double entendre, whatever. Like splintered back can be like something broke during winter time this past winter, but could also be like my spine split, like my back
I
literally
know.
became splintered, like the bones shattered, and I'm just like, oh my god.
I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. Right? Splintered back in winter, and then we also. Well, Hannah, will you remind us when You're Losing Me was written?
I wrote that down too. It was written in December.
A week before her birthday of 2021.
Was it a week before or a week after?
It was the week of her birthday.
Oh, it was of her birthday? Okay, now I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. Like it was December 5th, 7th, like a couple days before her birthday, basically.
Oh my gosh, December 5th. You're right. Oh, I just thought December. Oh my
It
gosh.
was
Oh my
the week of her
gosh.
birthday. I would be killing myself.
Oh,
Taylor as well, apparently.
well,
But yeah.
yes. That was
Like
bad.
my birthday?
Yeah.
Really? Anyway,
Yeah. No.
splintered back in winter.
Yeah.
Silent dinner, so they're not talking to each other. And one thing about Taylor, she loves to talk. So what? How do you punish her? You just give her the silent treatment.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me both of Tolerate It, where she just sits and watches him while he's eating. But it
Yep.
also it also reminds me of the opposite of the Lover music video, where they're like giggling and laughing and like eating salad or I don't know.
And then, okay, here's the thing. When I'm about to read these next few words, remember what we said about that ambiguous her she keeps throwing out there? She's a here too, because of course she is. So then we got bitter, he was with her in dreams. So and I've like pondered different meanings of this. So she's like, they're silent at the dinner table because she's bitter he was with this her at some point, or and she's remembering it in her dreams, or is she bitter because he's dreaming about this her and not talking to her and
Or is
not
she just
talking to this.
bitter at this whole situation in general?
Yeah, like, there's three different readings of that to me.
I love that
Um,
bitter line actually because it reminds me of "You're Losing Me." It glared at you with storms in my eyes, right? Like
mhm.
that's the silent dinner bitter, and that also reflects back on this rolling thunder storm as well. Like it's just this.
Yep,
They're like in the eye of the hurricane, and it's just
yep,
storming.
yep, yep, yep.
And yeah, I think that he was with her in dreams is so sad. And it also actually reminds me of a line in Guilty as Sin where someone told me there's no such thing as bad thoughts. So I wonder if that's what, like, he's admitted to her, like, oh, yeah, I dreamed of this girl or have dreamed of this girl, but it's not a big deal. It's just thoughts. So then later she's
Yeah.
like, well, it's just thoughts.
Exactly. So it's like, is it just thoughts, or is it like that's something like, is it he's with somebody in his dreams, or she's dreaming about an interloper that he had been with? I don't
Yeah,
know. It could be both.
it could be both. I'm inclined to say more of he was dreaming
Guilty.
of her. He
That
had his own guilty as sin moment.
yikes. Anyway, it's one of them. It doesn't matter. We just got another her.
Yeah.
It's another her. Um, the grays and blues and fights in tunnels. Oh my gosh. First of all, the rhythm of that, the back and forth of it, where she's like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like
Do
she's
you
listing grays and blues and fights and tunnels.
you know when I see tunnel, the first thing I think is Cornelia Street with that big first fight that she sings
Oh,
about. Like you chased me from the tunnel, like you called me when she ran running into the tunnel, running into the tunnel before. Oh my god, that was a giant strike of lightning, Jesus Christ. um
yeah, it's where
Sorry guys, it's just
because she's like, but then you called, showed your hand. I turned around before I hit the tunnel, right?
yeah, so typically he wouldn't hit the tunnel before
Yeah. Oh,
because he fought with her. Now it's like it's giving one-sided.
it's also giving like an escape route because before the tunnel was an escape and now she needs to escape. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, all four of these are things she's alluded to before, right? Like my face was gray. You wouldn't admit that we were sick, right?
praise, losing
Or
peace. Oh,
I'm just getting color back into my face. So long, London. Obviously, the blue has been used multiple times, and the
yeah,
fights in like Afterglow and the Great War, things like that.
yeah.
And
Mm-mm-mm.
that's where the tunnels also reminds me of warfare too, because
Yes.
if we're thinking about World War One, World War
Relevant.
Two, trench warfare, digging tunnels, um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Just yikes. Brazen blues and fights and
Oh yeah,
tunnels.
and grays and blues
Uh,
are also bruises, right?
yeah,
So,
fading bruises, but also bruises you get from fighting.
hmm,
Like in Afterglow, where she's like the violence of fist fighting. She said fighting with true love is boxing with no gloves.
that's
And
bruises.
well,
What's
yep.
the Great War one? My knuckles were bruised like violets.
Yeah. Sucker punching walls.
Yeah, yeah. If you, maybe I'll post a picture of this. I literally have like every single thing here like underlined with like another lyric.
Hannah, you can post your picture this time.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, no.
no. Read the next two lines. These are your favorites.
Yeah, handcuffed to the spell I was under for just 1 hour of sunshine, a moment's warm sun. Hello. Okay, handcuffed to the spell I was under is already like uh we know the spell she was under. She was in love with him,
Mm-hmm.
and she did not want to let that go. Which, when we eventually get to the bolter, we know that's not in Taylor's nature to not let something go when she gets scared.
Mm-hmm.
She will run first. And here she was digging her heels in, and she was handcuffed. She was locked into this relationship, and he was like, it was like a spell, which is obviously not a good thing, a love spell. Um, and she was doing all this like lead up, the silent dinners, the fights, the tunnels, being handcuffed was only for 1 hour of sunshine in the rolling thunder. Just one moment of peace. One moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah!
For me, when I read "Handcuffed to the Spell I Was Under," it reminded me of dancing with her hands tied.
Oh, don't do that.
Sorry. Right, and that whole song, it's like how they like loved each other in secret, and they wanted to just, despite the world, you know, about to crash in on them, like they're tied together and they just kept
They
dancing.
were tied together, and
Mm-hmm.
now she's not tied to him. She's
Mm-mm.
handcuffed to that idea of what their love was, kind of.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost alluding to the prophecy that we're going to get later, where she's like begging for spells. She's looking for witchcraft. She's praying,
Yep.
anything together.
Yeah. And
Uh,
the handcuff obviously also goes back to the whole jail theme of this too. Um,
Which, okay, actually, I have like a slight bone to pick, but not really. But yes, really. A lot of people were complaining. Some people are like complaining about the track listing, and they don't understand why Fresh Out the Slammer comes before Guilty as Sin. But for me, she's kind of like, she wasn't in jail because of She wasn't in jail for like her emotional cheating of guilty as sin. She was in jail because she was in love. It had nothing to do with that. That was something else. That was like she was like, let me flash back to why I picked this person in the first place. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it makes sense for guilty as sin to come later. Um, maybe people would not agree with me, but I agree with me, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, everything that you say is right. So we've
Thank you.
established that.
I'm I am never wrong,
Yes,
and I
exactly.
am always exactly. If I say it goes, right? Um, do you want to do you want to do the next
Oh
one?
yeah. Years of labors, locks, and ceilings in the shade of how he was feeling. So yeah, I again underlined everything. The years of labor. I mean, we talked about So Long London, right? Of just feeling like she's carrying the weight. Locks. Um, actually, I don't think I wrote anything for locks. If you can think of something for locks, you can say it.
Well, just for locks for me, I'm thinking like, do you remember that bridge in France, I think that they shut down where people would like do a love lock on the bridge?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like that. And also like locks literally she means like she was locked inside.
Oh, I could also see
And
it as like drilling, like the safe, right? Like drilling
yeah,
the safe. Like,
that's
okay, there's a lot. And then, but for ceilings, I always talk about ceilings is
obvious.
like ceilings can be safe, right? Like they provide a roof over your head,
It's
but
supposed to keep the rain.
yeah, keeps the rain out. But sometimes they are limiting, right? Like in Paris, you drew a map on the bedroom ceiling, right? In Lavender Haze, you're staring at the ceiling with you. Like it's very safe, cozy, comfortable. But then if you start feeling trapped, you gotta
Yep.
punch a hole through the ceiling and the roof and clean, and she just comes out.
Yep. And then it's like if all you're doing is staring at the ceiling, that's gonna be feel like a prison. And obviously she felt like it was a prison because they weren't it was nothing else. Because the thing is, she was like, all of that labor and the locks and ceilings, they were all for one specific reason. It was only in the shade of how he was feeling. So maybe sometimes, like that sunshine, it would come because he was feeling good. Um, but if he was feeling bad, which I fear may have been more often than not, she was in that house and locked up and having to do all this labor, what she literally is going to tell us in the next verse that I get to read.
Well, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Compose yourself.
Holding it,
So, couple.
holding it.
Yeah, I know. I love what you said because that actually reminded me of the In Summation poem where she says it
Yeah.
was house and then cardiac arrest. Like being stuck in that jail. Yeah, that was house arrest, right? Fresh Out the Slammer is her getting out of house arrest and then cardiac arrest. But right, and then
Yep.
the shade of how he's feeling is literally the song Renegade, right? I tapped on your window on
Yep.
your darkest night. The shape of you is jagged and weak. There was nowhere for me to stay, but I stayed anyway. And how like he's firing off missiles, and and
Do you
she,
know you're demolishing me?
yeah. Ooh, but it's gonna be all right, Exquisite. She did her time, right?
He doesn't even believe that, but it's gonna be all right. I did my time. And then she hits our little quasi, our little three-line chorus again. She's like, now, pretty baby, I'm running back home to you. Fresh out the slammer. I know who my call will be too. But then she tells us what happens actually when she got right out. When she actually got out the slammer, there were camera flashes, welcome bashes, get the matches, toss the ashes off the ledge. As I said in my letters, now that I know better, I will never lose my baby again. My friends tried, but I wouldn't hear it. Watched me daily disappearing for just one glimpse of his smile. All those nights you kept me going, swirled you into all of my poems. Now we're at the starting line. I did my time. I'm going to start yelling.
Okay, so you said something really interesting. So do you think? So what's the chronology for this verse? So she's what? Like, where do you
I
think?
think literally, I think this all happens before she, like, obviously, when she got out of jail, he was not there yet.
Okay.
Uh, but she was like, she was headed on her way. And on her way to him, right? She was like, there were camera flashes. And I just think of the butterfly jeans. The butterfly jean
Explain. You gotta
walk in New
explain.
York. Okay, for those of you who don't know, April 8th, the news hits the scene. The news hits the scene, and we're all panicking. 3 days later, Taylor comes out walking in this black shirt and these butterfly wide leg jeans, and they have a butterfly cutout that's studded in diamonds. And she looks beautiful. Her hair's straightened. She's like kind of smiling, and everybody's like, "Okay, she's okay."
Um,
Do you remember that?
I remember that very clearly. The parasocialing
I,
was happening both ways.
she was like, "Guys, we're all gonna be okay. It's fine." We were all so happy then. Little did we know how bad things would soon
Okay,
become.
so yeah, so you think this is the she's out of jail. She's like
Yeah,
gone home, changed into a cool outfit, and now she's like,
yeah.
"Oh, but I know my
She's going
final
to a party.
destination."
She's going to a party. Yeah. Because we even get it. She says camera flashes, welcome bashes, and I'm assuming her friends are the party because of what we she tells us later. Get the matches, toss the ashes off the ledge. So she's like, I've got to burn all this down. And I'm thinking, the black dog, um, where she's like, I want to sell my house and set fire to all my clothes. Um,
Oh, that's a great interpretation. Like, or like burn art, my old photos or my old IDs if I'm gonna run away.
yeah,
I was
burn all of
thinking, I
that.
was just thinking she was just having a cigarette
I mean,
at her
that could
party.
be too. But I got she's like lighting a match to her old life, and she's literally throwing those ashes off the ledge. And part of that is it for me, um, gives that she didn't take the time to like look through any of that old stuff. She's like, you know what? I'm burning it all because, as I said in my letters from prison to you, I know better. I don't need any of that because I don't want to lose my baby again. You know. So she's like, gotta burn it, gotta burn it. I don't even want to look at it. Just and then tossing it. Like the tossing off the ledge tells me she's like, I'm getting rid of it.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm
So
okay.
that's cool. My interpretation was similar. So I feel like this is her Bejeweled era where she's like, I'm
Yes.
out, I'm free. People can take pictures of me. They're like, welcome back. Like, you know how people have like divorce parties or breakup parties? Like,
Yes.
it's one of
I was
those.
giving that.
And then having a cigarette off at the rooftop bar and just like being like, I
I
don't
also
care.
did. I love that
But I do
interpretation.
I do like the idea of her burning things and like leaving it behind. Like I'm not saving like sometimes when you burn things that are special to you, you'll save the ashes. But I feel like in this one, she's like, nope, like let him go to the wind. I do not care.
And I see it as sometimes I see it as like her having the ashes in her hand and tossing it over her shoulder. She like over her shoulder over the balcony and she like walks off. Or like one of those scenes where in the movies where like and I'm picturing this Angela Bassett film and I can't remember the name of it where she like lights a match, throws the match over her head and the car explodes and she just walks away looking really cool.
I like
I'm
that.
picturing I'm picturing that yeah. But then we get the lines that make me nuts. The lines that make me crazy. The my friends tried, but I wouldn't hear it. Watched me daily disappearing for just one glimpse of his smile. Wow. I'm mad.
Yeah. I mean, so this is going a little bit into the past, right? Talking about looking back at her old relationship where her friends tried, but to help her to be like, hey, this isn't it isn't what is it? What is the So Long London line?
Like it isn't fair. It isn't right to be scared.
Yeah. Every day of a love
Every
affair.
day. Don't get me started, but actually do get me started because here's the thing. We get her vocal friends again. They're so vocal all over this album. And obviously they had seen her fading away. Like her face was gray. And this is her getting color back, I think. Actually, I don't think she's gotten her color back now that I think about it. Um, but she just says my friends were watching me and they were probably they were trying to help, not even probably, they were literally trying to help her, but she had dug in so tight that she didn't want to let go,
Yeah.
right? She wasn't trying to bandage it. She didn't care what her friends said. um and so she tells us like she's daily disappearing and fading away, not bejeweling. She's becoming like dull.
Yeah.
And she was doing all this just so she could make him laugh. Just one glimpse. One glimpse of a smile. Just one glimpse.
Yeah, that's
Ah!
Yeah,
Just
and
one.
but I think this also shows then how this outsider was able to infiltrate or
Yep.
get into her head, right? Like they were sending letters to each other, right? Texts probably in real life. There was some communication
Yeah.
happening, right? There's nights where he kept her going, whether through text or through guilty as sin thoughts, right? She
Yeah.
starts swirled you into all of my poems.
And I
Um,
think we get this one's literally in guilty as sin. That's what guilty as sin is to me. Like I slot guilty as sin right in there of all those nights you kept me going.
yeah, and
Especially because she goes, now we're at the starting line.
yeah, it hasn't
Um,
started yet, right? Like the gun for the, ready, set, gun, like hasn't gone
yeah.
off. Like no, it hasn't begun, and yet they're right about to at that white line.
And also like part of that is like you can feel because okay, the tempo is about to change in the song, which completely like it turns into a horror show, by the way. Like it gets real scary there. Because we can feel her like slipping into mania almost. But you can tell when she's like he like this person has like slipped his claws in because like all those nights kept going. So obviously he knew she was disappearing, and he was just offering things to be like, I can get you back. Like he was luring her out to be like, just give it a little more time and then come out and you can come to me. That's why she knows who her first call is going to be to, right?
Yeah.
And she even says, I know better now. I now that I know better, like and that implies of like when you say you know better, it means you've done something wrong. So that implies I did something wrong to end up in jail with this person, with person A, but I know better. So I know that I should have been with you to begin with. And it feels like and she said this something that she said in her letter. So they talked about this where he's probably been like the person, like the devil on her shoulder, like in her ear, making her feel better, being like, oh, you don't have to do all this labor with me, like we know what we're gonna be like, because who else is gonna know you like me, blah 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 blah. I could punch something.
Oh my gosh, no, I love that. I never thought about the now that I know better to also mean like I should have been with you. Like she's
Mm-hmm.
basically taken all this love energy that she's had from her previous relationship and through his love bombing has just been like whoop, just like scooched it over without thinking without thinking, right? Like she just has decided, right? And you kind of alluded to the Tortured Poets Department title track, right? Where who's gonna know you like me? Like that's what he said to her, and that's what she's trying to say as she's getting ghosted. Um, but that's she doesn't know that yet. She just knows like, oh, yeah, like, yeah, it must be you. Like, and I think this is a good place to talk about. Like, I did my time, right? Like this
It's
idea that I did everything I was supposed to. I served my sentence. I did it. Therefore, everything's gonna
it's gonna
work out.
be all right.
Yeah.
It's
Therefore,
gonna be
I'm
all
gonna get.
right. It's starting line.
Yeah, I'm gonna get what I want, which is this relationship that's gonna last. That's gonna let me bejeweled. Right? He's a bad boy. He's gonna let me like smoke cigarettes on the balcony.
Yeah. And notice, and again, this is another one of the songs we never actually see the relationship as she's in it. At any of these songs, we never actually see it. The closest we get is TTPD, the title track. And even then, I think that was a pass, or she's like reflecting on what had happened, but we never get this is why I'm with him, other than in response to what she just came out of.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not with. Yeah, she's show at the very end. They end up, she ends up like running towards his porch light, but
Yeah.
we actually don't even see the meeting. We don't see any of
Yeah.
that.
No, you and okay, before Hannah reads ooh, that scared me. I'm sorry. Before okay, did you hear that one?
No, your microphone's really good at filtering outside noise.
That one sounded so loud. Oh my god, it shook my house. Oh my god. Anyway, and no, that fear is the fear I felt. I'm like listening to this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like her. She's on some rhythm, like she's going, and then all of a sudden we get a tempo change. Everything slows down, and to me, we start moving in slow motion. The way I envision it is that there's a house. in the distance, and she's like gotten off that Greyhound, as you said, and I just see her like running, but it's in slow mo, and I imagine I'm watching a horror movie, and I'm watching someone go up to a house where I know someone's bad in there, and I'm like, oh my god, girl, turn around, but obviously she can't hear me.
No, I literally wrote down girl run. It's like she
Literally, run the opposite
it's
direction.
like she's walking into the house with the serial killer.
I know. And it's like everybody else knows. Oh God.
Yeah.
We've seen this film before. It's not gonna be pretty. But she doesn't, because she's literally, we literally can sonically hear her. We hear the mania lock in where she's like, I'm at the starting line. The caged beast is about to do an insane thing. Everything's slowing down. The camera work is saying, hey guys, pay attention to that this like crickety old house on the hill that she's
Hmm.
running up to. Do you want to read it?
Yeah. Now, pretty baby, I'm running. And the switch up happens to the
Yep.
house where you still wait up and that porch light gleams. To the one who says I'm the girl of his American dreams. And no matter what I've done, it wouldn't matter anyway. Ain't no way I'm gonna screw up now that I know what's at stake here. At the park where we used to sit on children's swings wearing imaginary rings. But it's gonna be alright. I did my time.
And what's crazier is she just screws up her whole rhyme pattern she had been doing. All the rhythm, everything is out of whack at this
Mm hmm,
ending
mm
part.
hmm, mm hmm.
Everything's out of whack. And then it's just like to the house where you still wait up. Like everything is like slowed down. And that still wait up, like she's obviously someone she's known before, at least known of. And she's like, he's still waiting for me. And he says, I'm the girl of his American dream, which is like we she used to be someone's American queen, obviously. Salute to me, I'm your American queen from King of My Heart. She doesn't have that, but she has someone saying that, you're my American dream, you're all I want. She's got someone giving her that now.
And it's a direct foil to the first relationship dreaming of some other girl. But at
Yep,
least this guy dreams of me.
yep, yep. He was with her in dreams, but I'm the one in his dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not bitter about it. And she goes, no matter what I've done, it wouldn't matter anyway. So again, we get her being like, all of this was my fault if I had just chosen right in the first place. But it's okay because it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter what I've done. Because I'm not gonna mess up. I'm not gonna do it. Like she's saying a lot of this is self-inflicted. And she even said this. She's like, I'm not gonna screw up because I know exactly what at stake here. And she tells us what's at stake in the next sentence. Because when they used to sit on the children's swings, there were imaginary rings, and my head rings like a gong because I'm like, oh, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what's at stake.
She
And
wants a
she
ring.
and then yeah, and then after the imaginary ring part, there's like this like 5 seconds of silence. It feels like to me that drags on forever in a good way. And then she goes, "It's gonna be all right. I did my time." She's gonna get these imaginary rings and not these handcuffs, at least in her mind, because that's what she had screwed up, at least in her head. Um, where she like had lost him or whatever, and when she had screwed up in the beginning, she had screwed up the idea of those rings being real.
Oof.
Um, so she's like, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to screw up. I know what's at stake. Just us two in our youth, the children's swings of it all, the reclamation of youth, but also getting like marriage and children again. Um, and not going to be all right. It is not going to be all right. Anyway,
No,
so that she's,
going back, yeah, like and no matter what I've done, it wouldn't matter anyway. I think those tenses are so interesting because you would think it's, and no matter what I've done, it doesn't matter anyway. Like it would be like a past tense, but she does some kind of like conditional tense, like she's like just waving it away, like like she's not thinking straight, right? She's just like it wouldn't matter, like it doesn't like there's no sense of trying to see what messed up in the past and really sitting with it and trying to unpack it. It's just she's just straight up moved on and through this manic phase.
she's running from it. She's quite literally, she had to run so fast away. And it's like she had to run back to America, run away because of everything. Like because she had to run from like dying. As she got a little bit of color back, she's like, okay, I'm running to the person who promised I'll get more color again. Like
Y-
he's promising that he can show me my American colors again.
exactly. And then you talk about back to innocence. Yeah, the at the park where we just sit on children's swings reminds me a lot of Seven, right? When she's swinging above high above the creek, right? This where she's coming back to that idea. But then, yeah, the imaginary rings immediately took me back to it took me back to TTPD where she takes the ring and puts it on the wrong finger. Um,
Yep.
so
Yep. And
it's
yeah.
crazy how she really just she's very clear about what went wrong and why, and maybe if she had just thought a little bit it wouldn't have happened so spectacularly self implosion y. But like
Yeah.
we see her mental state. I think for me the reason why I think this album works so well is I don't necessarily would make the same choices she would, but I understand them and
And I
why.
can't say that I wouldn't make the same choices is the
I
thing.
don't know. I think you would have killed somebody. She didn't.
Uh, yeah, I might have killed somebody. No, I can't say I my thing is I can't say that I do not understand, and I cannot say that I would not make the same choices
Yeah.
because I if I had been so deprived of love and so locked in and just doing all of this just so I can see someone else smile, because I have to do so much work for someone to smile at me, I'm like dying to myself. But then there's this person who haunts me and has come back from my past who just willing freely gives me a smile and freely tells me everything he knows I need to hear because he obviously knows what kind of state I'm in. Why would you not run to that safe haven, you know?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes is absolutely correct.
It was predatory. It was like you knew the state I was in and you did it anyway. Um Yikes is what it is. I want to talk specifically before we go back. Again, I completely understand her state of mind. Poor doll, pobrecita. Oh, anyway, there's this image I keep getting of one. We never see her open that door. Um, like I get this image of her coming right up to the door and is turning the handle, and we flash back. We flash back to them being young and on those swings. um, we never see the door open. We never see what's on the other side. We don't know who the pretty baby is. But I'm getting the super American image of like this white or like yellow house with a wraparound front porch and like rocking chairs and some porch light.
It's a
That's the image
very
I'm
it's a
getting.
very Americana image, right? Like I think I can't remember who said it, either on Tumblr or on Twitter, where they were like it's like they imagined the house from the Notebook, you know?
Yes.
And like and they just and how is it Noah leaves like if he had left the light on for whatever
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams character like can come back, to like
Speaking of
home.
leaving the light on, in this in this one, she kind of paints herself as Peter. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's part of the delusion. The part
Explain
of the
that.
delusion. Well, okay, because she tells us later, and we find out more deeper in the anthology. She was the one waiting because she had been left both times.
Or
Uh,
however many times.
However
Muses.
many
Yeah.
times she was left. But in this, it was she was the one who was left. She was the one who had left. And she's like, I left, but you're waiting for me, and you keep that light on instead of the other way around, where she's like, I'm an adult and I'm not leaving the light on for you anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and also in that song she's like, you need forgive me, Peter. And in here in this song she's also like she's asking for forgiveness, or like being like, I'm gonna make up for the mistake of both leaving and waiting, or like leaving and not waiting, which is so interesting. When we get to Peter, that'll be fun. But it's so interesting how she's putting all the blame on herself. Like even in this song, Fresh Out the Slammer, with that first relationship, even though she's like listing all the things that she did, she puts all the blame on herself for it.
Mm.
Like that's what I'm getting. That she's like taking the blame almost because she was the one who was in prison. Um, And she doesn't say that she wasn't in prison. Like, she doesn't say she was falsely in prison. She's like, I did my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously she did something.
Yeah. She does say
Or
in
think,
summation poem that she's out of the slammer and into a tidal wave. So we will get to that. Um,
yeah.
very
Oh,
soon.
brother. I like to say, oh my God, girl, turn around. Turn around. Don't
Yeah.
go into the basement.
No, I really feel like that production choice elevates the song so much because you can see her entering even more like this illusion, this manic. Have you seen the film Annihilation?
I haven't,
Okay,
but
so
I'm scared.
it is a very scary film, but there's like basically there's like a mist or like a barrier that you have to like cross, and then it's like this like there's like weird shit happens on the other side. Like I can just feel her, or like if you've watched WandaVision, right, where she has like that thing veil around the town, and you just kind of
Yep.
like if you like push through, then on the other side there's something crazy's gonna happen. Like that's totally what it feels like, and it's so sad because she like anti Cassandra's herself. She's like, ain't no way I'm gonna screw up, and it's like, girl,
Mhm.
like you just jinxed yourself, like so
Think
badly.
yourself.
Yeah, because
Think yourself. Yeah.
yeah,
Also this, it literally is giving she doesn't even know what she doesn't know.
mm-hmm.
She doesn't know just how bad it can get. And the thing is, we don't hear her. I don't think her friends know she's running to this place because her friends are throwing her the party happy that she's left because they're like,
Yeah,
we tried to tell you. We wanted to tell
and you made
you.
it. You're free.
And now you're free. And she's like, ha ha ha, actually, I'm at a starting line for another thing.
No, it's like she like they didn't know she's texting a guy on the side, and she sneaks out of her own party and just pops on another Greyhound bus and goes.
Literally, quite literally. They don't know that she snuck out of her own celebration party.
Yeah,
Oh, brother. Like, oh my God, this is so scary.
it is really scary. I mean, out of context of the album, like we're without any of the muses, I think you could see this as like a song about escaping and finding true love. It's possible, but I do think that the little haunting bit at the end does make it
I
a
don't
little
even
bit
think
difficult.
it's possible. Like, even devoid of its context, at least for me with the production, I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, hmm. Especially because, and even she even does it with the stopping on wearing imaginary rings. If that doesn't just give you chills in the bad way of like,
Yeah.
uh-oh,
Yeah.
we're in danger here. Someone ring the alarm. Like,
We
oh
have so
no,
many more songs to go before before we get a conclusion.
we're in danger. Where the tornado alarm? Someone get her out.
Yeah, no, 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 it's true. I mean, yeah, and reading
Is
it
this coming
again,
after
that
Daddy I Love Him as well? Interesting.
oh yeah, after But Daddy I Love Him. Yeah, no, it's I mean, thank goodness for that song to give us that buffer, but I mean, I think it's crazy that he's like waiting up, right? Like looking at the other verses, like I wonder how many times her former partner like didn't wait up, just like rolled over and went to bed.
Yeah. And she says, you still wait up.
Yeah.
Well, she says, I'm running to the house where you still wait up. And so my thing is because we haven't gotten to the house yet, I'm like, is he actually waiting up? And he probably is, but there's the potential that he's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
The house
This whole part could just be her like imagination, right? Like
in her
this like
head.
her hopeful happy ending, but she's like literally going to the Bates Motel, which is if you don't know is a important scene in the film Psycho by Alfred
My
Hitchcock.
God, girl, turn around,
Yeah.
please. We're all begging you to turn around. But what I like also about But Daddy I Love Him being the song that comes before this is because But Daddy I Love Him, we get this full like reclamation of autonomy, and we talked like extensively about this. But in Fresh Out the Slammer, we see what she does when she gets her autonomy. We see the
Oh.
first choice she makes when she is her own person and out of the prison of her old relationship.
Yeah, and that is the price of autonomy, right? Sometimes you will make mistakes, right? Like, literal going back to our biblical allusions, right? Like, Adam and Eve, that was the autonomy that they had. Like they could choose to eat that fruit or they could not, and they made the not decision. I mean, they did the eat decision.
And even with that, because first of all, Taylor's gonna bring Eve back in a big way.
Oh yeah.
Um, but even with that, like the decision was also prompted by listening to bad advice or having someone in her ear being like, he doesn't want you to know this. He's treating you less than. He doesn't want you to be like him. You should bite this apple. It's
Oh
like,
my
oh,
gosh. No, you're absolutely right. It definitely seems like, right, in the letters that they had,
uh-huh.
right? That, and the nights he kept her going. And, you know, if you've heard, apparently she did co-write some songs with with that relationship, as this other relationship was
I
deteriorating.
still just, I'm like, okay.
Which part?
Of the actual co-writing, I'm like, I don't like that.
I don't, yeah, I
It
don't.
could happen, but I don't
I mean, I believe at least one happened because of the leaked, not the leaked, but the misprinted 1989 vault
know.
tracks. Um, you could
Which
Google
looks
it.
terrible, by the way. Good lord.
I know. She was manic. Okay, now
She was manic, you guys, please.
that's
She was manic.
if the proof is the fact that she let those lyrics be printed and recorded, but the unmanic shows that she stopped it from hitting the presses.
What were we saying before we brought that up?
I was gonna go back to all those nights you kept me going, swirled you into all of my poems. I remember seeing people starting to retcon many of Taylor's songs,
I don't like that.
and yeah, I was like, and I believe firmly that each of Taylor's albums were part of the context that were written and stand. Like you can't just like throw in the Gnostic Gospels out of nowhere. Um,
Yeah.
um,
Even though, okay, please don't get me started on the Gnostics. Oh my God, my head
okay,
hurts.
okay, no, okay, we're gonna no, no, no.
Well,
But I mean, it is true that Taylor does retcon her songs, right? Which,
yep.
and she encourages us to like reinterpret songs to fit. But
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I
yeah,
also read.
yeah. But I
Like,
mean,
it's
so yeah,
working
some
for
people
me.
ask me like, what does "swirled you into all of my poems" means? Doesn't that mean is he written into folklore and evermore? And I say no. Although she did dedicate part of Cardigan to him that one time. That was just it
Why
was a
would you even
thing.
bring? Why would you bring? She was married. She
She was
was
manic. I'm just saying that it's part of her history.
Yep.
The caged beast does curious
Listen, you're
things.
bringing up her history. I'm not even listening. Okay. But yeah, I don't. People were trying to go, oh my goodness. They were trying to retcon sacred 1989 history. And I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, they were not together back then. Um,
She didn't even know him when that hit the presses. Leave it.
yeah, and again, we're not trying to speculate and go through all the dating history. So if you have any question about that, please DM us separately. This is not part of the
Yeah.
podcast, but this is just to
Yeah,
say,
but I think,
art is art.
yeah. Yeah, and the swirled you into all of my poems could even just mean, like, it doesn't necessarily mean songs. It could mean, I mean, it could mean songs that were on here. Like, again, I already said I slot guilty as sin into that line as well, part of it.
I agree.
But it could just mean she's a writer and she writes to help her understand. So she's like, I needed something to keep me going, so I was putting you into these things. Wandered back in winter, silent dinners. Anytime I read it, I have to read it with the cadence she sings it in because I can't help it. I cannot. I
And,
cannot.
and
I
I think that
cannot.
I mean, and you have to. It's the I ams.
Yes, literally. Quite literally. Just everything. Like even the way, like, we don't talk enough about like her performances, but the way this song is performed, the the opening of the way she sings Pretty Baby, and then literally at the end where she repeats it and she goes, I'm running, but the way she says running is like she like she like pronounces every in running
Mm-hmm.
at the last time she says it. Like it's like every single in that song. All three ins are felt.
And her lower register sounds amazing, and then she does those like falsetto notes also sounds super strong. And like that kind of nasally sound she does to make it sound Western is so
Yep.
good, right? Like I did my time, like kind of like in the nose. Oh, so
Yes.
good.
Like I did it, especially because that's also how she's able to like force some rhymes that maybe don't work, and that really shouldn't work. Like first of all, I'm just looking at cameras, flashes, welcome bashes, get the matches, toss the ashes, all of those rhyme. But then she adds in off the ledge.
Yeah.
And then goes, as I said in my letters, now that I know better, I will never lose my baby again. That doesn't work. But then she performs it and it works.
Yeah. I think the way she says off the ledge and then
Yeah.
again, she kind of like
Yeah.
forces it.
Yeah. Also with she rhymed hear it with disappearing. That shouldn't even work.
Uh,
But it's the way she sings it. She's like, I wouldn't hear it. Watch me daily disappear it. And it works. It works.
yeah. Yeah, it's
And
great.
that's like so Shakespearean because Shakespeare did that all the time. Like sometimes you'll read a Shakespeare and you'll read it with like a modern pronunciation. You're like, this does not work. And then your teacher's like, listen, this is how they would have said it. And you're like, oh, that is a rhyme.
Yeah.
It's just all in the performance.
Yeah.
It needs a music video.
And yeah, the and she like already reels you in with those initial rhymes the way beginning that you'll let anything slide for that second one.
Yeah. She rhymes anyway with at stake.
Wait, what
And
at
then she
stake? Oh,
drops the here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And no matter what I've done, it doesn't matter anyway. Ain't no way I'm gonna screw up now that I know what's at stake. That should not work.
Yeah.
And yet it does. And then she drops in a here. She just drops a here in. Like she's like, hello, here now. I'm standing right in front of your porch now. I'm here at the door.
Oh yeah, I could even see that as like now pretty baby, I'm running here. Like she's made it here, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's like you're right.
Everything else
She's
is
on the
perfect.
porch.
She's like, I'm here at the park because we did this. We did this. So yeah, no. Anyway, in the right moment in time, I'm not gonna cry today because I'm not
You're holding up.
yeah, I've learned some strength. But catch me on a bad day, I start going nuts because I'm like, what do you mean one glimpse? Just one glimpse?
Yeah.
One glimpse. And do you guys know how minuscule a glimpse is?
Yeah.
To be living off of a glimpse, to be living and like dying based on the gods of his blues days, just one tiny little glimpse. Of course, you're gonna go to the one person who's gonna give it to you freely.
Yeah, the one
Of
person
course,
who says I'm dreaming of you. I'm thinking of you.
I'm gonna send you a song, and in that song, it's gonna be like, he doesn't love you like I would love you. Hello,
Yeah.
that man should be in prison, but he won't get.
Serve time.
Wait. Actually, hello, you deserve prison, but you won't get time. And here, she's like, I did my time.
Oh, we're gonna bring that back. We're gonna bring that back for the smallest
We're
man who ever
so
lived.
we're so gonna bring that back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, like I'm really.
Yeah, this
Taylor,
song needs more love. I feel like this is gonna be the sleeper classic that'll emerge.
I think it's
It's not. I mean, I follow the chart accounts. It's not getting the most streams,
yeah.
but it's
I think
so fresh
like
and
so
good.
it goes.
What'd you say?
I think maybe like so it goes.
Mm. Also very underrated. I love that song.
I didn't like it for a long time, and then I started liking it, and I understood it. I was like, oh wait, I get it. One day it just clicked, and a lot of you, one day fresh out the slammer, will just click. It'll just click like a camera flash,
Yeah.
like the click of a camera flash.
Camera flashes, welcome bashes.
Yeah, we won't throw welcome bashes when they join us.
You
It'll be
know,
too late.
you can add us and say it finally clicked, and we'll appreciate it.
Maybe that could be. Should we do a camera flash emoji? The flashing camera emojis.
Yes, that sounds great. Camera flashing emojis. Um, that's a great place to end. Exquisite. That was a great segue. You did it.
I'm a natural.
So yeah, please send us your thoughts. Use the hashtag TTPD seminars or at Taylor Seminars. You can reply to the tweets with the camera flash emoji so we know you made it to the end. We really appreciate all you listeners. There's like 800 to 900 of you who tune in every week. I don't know who you are, but we are so grateful. Also, thank you to Aleph Vernon for the beautiful artwork. As always, sometimes I forget to mention him, but always want to. And thank you to you, Exquisite, and to me, myself.
Yes, thank you, Hannah.
All right, see you guys. What's the next episode?
Oh
For
my goodness.
Florida.
Florida!
Oh my gosh. See you guys soon for Florida.
We're running back to Florida is where we're going. Like, we're really running.
From rolling thunders to like the hurricane state. All right, bye.